Welcome back. Those distinctive sounds from pickleball paddles have started a battle over the sport in Maple Grove. After complaints from neighbors, the city banned pickleball at one of its parks. Lou Raguse talked with both sides.
The distinctive dink of a paddle against a pickleball is noticeably absent at Fish Lake Woods Park in Maple Grove. The pickleball court has been painted over, and signs that took John Messerly by surprise say pickleball is prohibited.
At first I thought it was a joke. I thought that somebody had just printed them up and tried to be the one cranky neighbor.
But it's no joke. This month, Maple Grove Parks and Rec banned pickleball on the tennis court.
So it's louder than tennis?
Way louder, yes, way louder.
Due to neighbor complaints.
Some people might say if you get a house next to a park, you're signing a social contract that there's going to be some noise, and that's okay because you chose to live next to a park.
We expected that. Tennis is perfectly fine.
Basketball's fine.
Basketball, we have no problem with basketball, kids playing in the park.
The neighbors who filed the complaint say they've received threats and asked to stay anonymous. They gave us this video of the noise from their perspective. The rise of the popular sport has given new life and demand to tennis courts across the country. While Maple Grove offers other pickleball locations, it's important to John and many of his neighbors to use their park.
This is our park, we want to use it.
The encouraging thing hearing from both sides is that they say they'd be willing to work together.
What do you hope happens now?
A compromise at least.
I think it's really something that the more people can talk to each other and try to work through solutions, it's going to come to a better result, and it's going to help build community in the process.
Oh, look at these little guys. They're now just weeks away from their big debut at the Minnesota Zoo. The new Red Panda Forest is set to open right around Memorial Day. Red pandas have been missing at the zoo since 10-year-old Min died in 2021. Well, now the beloved species is back, and Rena Sargentopoulos got a sneak peek at the stars of the show, their roommates, and the year-long process to make their new home.
Red pandas have been at the Minnesota Zoo since it opened in 1978, so we have a really long history.
If you are a tiny tyke, you have never experienced the wonder of red pandas at the Minnesota Zoo. But the wait,
so this project's been in the works for over a year,
is over.
Really utilizing this space to bring that species back to the zoo, for us, was kind of a no-brainer.
The zoo had space and red pandas were top of the list. A no-brainer, he says, because, well, there's cute and then there's red pandas cute. But the exhibit was too big for just red pandas, so now what?
We look at where red pandas might be from. We also look at what other animals are available. So we're excited that we're going to be bringing in western tufted deer and red-crowned cranes to supplement the red pandas.
3 species native to China and the Himalayas that all do well in cold climates. Now, you might think the zoo goes out and searches for the animals and then builds the habitat around them, but it's the other way around, a sort of build it and they will come kind of thing.
Everything's intentional. Everything's intentional.
Gina Louise is the exhibit designer. She has to create a space that is comfortable and enriching for the animals, ensures that they can't escape, and also gives guests a good view.
You feel like you're really in their setting, watching them in the wild. So like creating foreground, midground, background, you know, a lot of zoos don't have anything up front because they want you to be right in there. But if you were looking at an animal in the wild, there'd probably be something between you and that animal.
Misters, mossy areas, and solar-powered cooling spaces will help keep the pandas on view during our hot summer months. And a brand new building will house all of the animals at night or in bad weather. Okay, now we just need the animals.
I love cranes.
The first to arrive are the red-crowned cranes, sisters hatched last year from National Zoo in Washington, D.C.
They're called red-crowned cranes, but you might have noticed there's no red on them right now. They're kind of drab colors, and that's because they still have their juvenile plumage.
Dr. Ann Rivas says it will be about 2 years before those red feathers start to pop. The cranes are about 5 feet tall, will hunt insects and frogs, and on the day we visited, we're getting their physical exams.
Hi, sweet girl, I know.
The girls passed. And though they are beautiful, it was the stars of the show who arrived next.
Yeah, I know. There's people here to see ya.
Here's your first peek at cedar and spruce.
Even their crunching is very cute.
They are 9-month-old brothers born at the Lincoln Children's Zoo in Nebraska.
They have settled in really well and started bonding with their care staff here, and we're thrilled to see how quickly they've acclimated to life here in Minnesota. Come here. You want some?
Dr. Rivas is feeding them nutritional biscuits and some fruit for snacks, but their main diet is bamboo.
Good job. You want a grape for that?
Red pandas are considered endangered, and while panda is in the name, they are more closely related to raccoons, weasels, and skunks. These cuties currently weigh in at about 10 to 12 pounds and will likely live to be teenagers.
That kind of snuffle sound is he's smelling, trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing. They can kind of growl and grumble. They've got just the best little personalities.
Yes, you will want to snuggle with one, but it's not recommended. The final residence, the tufted deer.
They're pretty petite, they're really adorable. The little male that we have, his name is Douglas. He's been a little gentleman so far.
Douglas is from the Cleveland Zoo. His girlfriend will arrive from Prospect Park Zoo in New York soon. They will be a breeding pair.
Tufted deer are a species that need support in our zoos to help maintain their populations, and so we're happy to be able to provide a home for a breeding pair and their offspring and help support that population.
They are most well known for their adorable little fang-like teeth. Douglas hasn't grown his yet. They love to browse on leaves and are a brand new species at the Minnesota Zoo.
They have a lot of really interesting vocalizations, so if he's trying to figure out who you are, he'll sit there and click at you. They can bark, they can growl, so even though they're small, they have a big personality.
There you have it, Red Panda Forest. More than a year in the making, from concept to construction to culmination. The final touches are being added as we speak, so you'll have to visit in person to see it for yourself.
We mentioned all the zoos that our new animals came from. They are not on loan. It's all part of the conservation side of things, where the Association of Zoos and Aquariums works together behind the scenes to make sure animals are protected and preserved for future generations. Red Panda Forest at the Minnesota Zoo opens around Memorial Day, so stay tuned to the zoo's social media pages for the official day. Stick with us. We have more news and weather coming up after the break.